Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with a net for your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with a net. It's your intellectual radio show, here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with a net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your host, your girl, Annette Harris. I'm so glad that you guys have joined us on today. I am your certified positive mental health ambassador, the CEO of Get Caught in a Net. This is how your show is brought to you on today, and also the author of Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. I'm excited. I know it's a different day that we are here, but I was trying to accommodate my guest, and we are here. We're gonna just bring this on in so we can celebrate our 10 years and to talk to our guest on today to see what he's been up to. Before we do bring him on, God, we thank you for all things. We thank you for how you blessed, how you've helped, how you've healed, how you've delivered us, oh God, and given us your wisdom of what to do in this day and time. We ask that you would get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And we are going to feature our new segment on today. Well, we've featured it. But it is a new segment. Where are they now? Where are they now? So we're going to talk to my wonderful friend on today. I'm so excited he's here with me today. We're going to bring him in from the virtual waiting room. Elder Kevin McGee, how are you?
What's up? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing so well. This guy, I'm telling you guys, we joke around so much, but I appreciate him. I really do. He's such he's a genuine person. He really is, and he's real. He's gonna tell you what's on his mind. I guess you need to do that as a pastor. But anyway,
I've been around Walter Jones too much.
Oh Lord Jesus, Lord. Wait. Do I see something with the Walter Jones name on here on today? Wow. He says, hey, y'all, we're honored to have you in our presence, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. He said, here we go. Listen, guys, when you come in today, go ahead and click that share button. Click the share button for me. Push this out. Throw up the thumbs up, the heart, the care button if you wouldn't mind. Walter, do not throw up the frown button, okay? I appreciate that. So you could also tag individuals into this segment on today. Whether they are watching it live or they will come back and watch it later, we will have this ready for them to listen to. I am live on my Instagram page, Get Caught in the Net. Also, of course, here on Facebook, Annette Get Caught in the Net, Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette on that page as well. And then we're also live on my YouTube channel, Get Caught in the Net Incorporated. And if you would not mind doing me a favor, I'm trying to build that channel up. So when you go to YouTube, type in Get Caught in the Net Incorporated, you could go ahead and click that subscribe button. And then, of course, the bell to know when we go live. We have a lot of things we try to push out over on our internet page. I'm sorry, on our YouTube page. So let's see here. I think Janice is in the house. I love you, Janice. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. There are other names here or individuals here who I don't see. Oh, is that Lisa? Hey, Lisa. How are you doing, girl? We're praying for you. Good to have you on today. So, Elder McGee, let's just jump right in. I know y'all probably say, what's she doing here on a Thursday? Well, I'm trying to accommodate my guest on today. I try to do that every once in a while, and it seems I'm about to go ahead and review the times that you've been on my show. And it seems I have done a lot of accommodating as far as you're concerned. You know where I'm going to. I've done a lot of accommodating, but you know what? It's okay. Let me read this real quick. Okay, you were on January 1st, 2020. That was the first day of that year. Wow, and that started off COVID. COVID was a few months later, right? The Realness of Pastoring. That was the title of that particular segment. And I felt led to reach out to you, and I'm glad you did. It was a wonderful segment. And you were able to express and talk to us about what it means to be a pastor and the realness of it. And I'm so glad that you did. You co-hosted with me on November 21st, 2018, to help me to celebrate 5 years of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Dang, we've been going for a long time, dude. You were a guest in my studio audience on August 7th, 2019 with Chef Wood. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that chicken he made.
Oh God, wasn't it good? It was so
Yeah.
good. It was so good. Okay. And then the last appearance that I have for you was February 9th, 2022. And that was an evening segment. And the title of that was A Night with the Connected Poet.
Now there was one more. I think you might have forgotten.
Okay, I was going to ask you, did I forget? Because I know I've been on your show a couple of times. Which
Right.
one did I forget that you were on here?
In the old studio. I'm not. Was that? I know you said 2018, but Final Melody. When was that? The guy group.
Yes.
On that one.
You're right. You co-hosted with that.
And that might have been it.
That might have been 2017,
maybe. Yeah.
20. Okay. We've been rocking and rolling, dude, for a while. We have. But again, as I stated earlier, you've always been genuine, always been someone that I can kind of call on and count on. You've also penned a great amount of poetry for this show. Don't you go there. Don't go there right now. I'm trying to give you accolades. I know what you're getting ready to say. But you have penned a number of poems that were related to the topic of discussion. Sometimes I would get that topic late and I'll message you, can you write a poem? And you will come up with it so fast and send it to me. You send it to me so I could be able to play it on the air. Because you said you always say you didn't like to come on the air and say it. So you would record it and send it to me. And I've been so grateful because it enhanced the show and we got used to it. And then you took it away like candy from a baby. But we're not going to go there right now.
My schedule changed. Okay?
I
and
get
then
it.
You don't come on every week like you used to. So
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, last week, I took the holiday. I get that. It has nothing to do with anything. But typically, I do. So we're not going to go on here and fighting on today, all right? So we're not going to do
Let them see the real us, okay?
Wait, instead of the realness of pastoring, the realness of our relationship.
Yeah.
It's all good though. But again, man, I'm telling you, I appreciate that because you didn't have to do what you did. And hopefully you'll come back soon one day and do some more. Comment from oh, you know what? Why? Why? He said, I'm yet to book a spot on this show, yet Kev been on 12 times. That says a lot about you and Kev, Sir Walter.
But see, Sir Walter is always on my show, so he's good with me.
You know what? Don't you even think about that what he just said was true. Don't even think about it because it's not. Anyway, Demetra Pitts is on. Thank you for coming in. Cheryl Lovelace, I appreciate you. I call him my cousin. Thanks for coming in. You guys, again, go ahead and click that share button and please make sure you tag individuals in. Elder McGee, I want to jump right in because we've talked about your poetry. We've talked about you. You're helping me to celebrate 10 years this year in broadcasting. And as you've heard already, you came on to help me celebrate 5 years, and you've been on numerous times before. So let me ask you, what was your favorite session being on here with me?
With the chef.
Ah,
The chef, but also because it wasn't just the chef. You also had Demetrius Hunt talking about her book.
yes.
And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Tonil was on that
Yep.
show as well. So
Yep.
The fact that you had multiple guests on at that time, and you changed the atmosphere by doing the show from the outer area of the studio and having the live cooking guest, the chef there. So I thought that was unique. And if I have to say one other is when you had Final Melody on, the young
Okay.
men, because I love music, and to see them in action. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, after they appeared, we booked them in our jurisdiction for a service. So, so those probably were my two favorite ones.
Right. Okay. All right. I was just the other day looking at Facebook memories, and it popped up when they were on the show. I don't know if it was from that. No, because we were in the new studio, but it was Facebook memory. But the Final Melody, they were hot. Yeah, you booked them. That's right. You did book them in your jurisdiction. I booked them to come to my church as well, or the church that I attend. Is not my church. Let me just clarify that. So
It's your church. It's your church.
well, you know what I'm saying.
You go there, they're gonna say this is a Nest church.
You know what? Don't even try.
CEO. Her and her sister Gwen, they are the CEOs of
No,
Abounding
no.
Life.
Trust. Y'all don't listen to nothing he just said. Okay, so Walter Jones, I see an angry emoji, and I know that that's from you. I know it is. So God is going to deliver you if you're still on here. All right, so let's move forward. But yeah, that was good. That's interesting. You should say those two of your favorites. I think one of my favorites with you was, and we already talked about this, the Realness of Pastoring show. Because you were able to sit down, be vulnerable, and talk to us about the ins and outs of pastoring, and how it affects you. Because we don't see that a whole lot. You know what I mean? We see you pastors, you spiritual leaders up in front, and you have this face, if I can say it like that. You have to present yourself in such a way, but then you were able to talk to us about the ins and outs, the stuff that we don't see, that are out front. But it was good to understand that, especially not being a pastor, being a member or parishioner, or however you may want to label yourself. It's good to see the vulnerability of our spiritual leaders too, so that we could understand what they're going through and what they're dealing with, and then so that we could try and aggravate, so we won't be a burden. So that was one of my faves. And then I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I put that up at the top as one of my faves. And then, of course, also the Night with the Connected Poet. You were also vulnerable that night. You You came in a way with your poetry that I had never even seen before. And it was enlightening and it was refreshing to see. You took off your pastor hat and you put on your poet hat, and you kind of led us into that life, that side of you, that I don't think many people really understand, um, about that particular passion of yours. How did Let's segue into this. How did that become a passion for you, writing poetry?
Well, honestly, I did it as a dare. Okay. I've always been into reading. I started reading before I even started school. And so I've always read. Um, in high school, English lit was probably one of my favorite subjects, even though I hated it. Okay. Even studying poetry, I hated it in school. But I tell you what got it started for me was that in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, I was like one of the guys in the hood, in the neighborhood that would, we called ourselves having a singing group. First we called ourselves having a rap group. Okay, so I wrote all of the raps. I wrote everything back in the 80s. I won't even tell you my rap name because my kids just fall out every time they hear it. So anyway, um, and all of
I
this
want to know. I want to know so
pre
bad.
pre salvation. No, I'm not going to tell you. But then in church, some friends and we formed a group, and I co-wrote a song that we performed. And so from there, just the fact that I was into that mode of writing, I kind of sidelined it, but through the years, I would write songs. I wrote a song for when we were still in first jurisdiction for the preparing for the jurisdictional music convention. I wrote a song for my district, and they performed it. Um, at that time, I was a member of John P. Key Chicago Chapter Choir VIP, and so I wrote that song and had a musician friend to put the music to it and everything like that. So now, fast forward, the poetry part came because if you notice, poetry and song lyrics are pretty much the same. The book
Yeah,
of Psalms is a song of songs, but it's also poetry.
poetry.
So fast forward, I was working at a company in Oak Brook Terrace, IT company, and I was just talking to one of my guys there, and I was looking at some of his work. You say, "Hey, I'm writing poetry, this, that, and the other," and he said, "What do you think you can do? You think you can just write anything like this?" And I said, "Probably can." I'm like, "Hey." He didn't know my background of writing or anything like that. He just kind of challenged me to write something. And so I saw a picture on the wall. Most of my early poetry came from things African American art. I love African American art, so I would really write what I saw.
Hmm.
And so I sat down. He said, "Well, I'll give you a day or two." I said, "I don't need a day," and I just pretty much wrote what I saw, and in about 3 to 5 minutes. And he was like, "What?" And so he challenged me to write another one and challenged me to write another. So it really became a contest between he and I. And so I'm competitive to a certain point, and I hate to lose. And my youngest son, he grew up that way. My youngest son hates to lose. So he got that from me. And so it went from just being a competition to just really being an interest and to being a passion. Um, in family reunions, I would write a piece, to celebrate the family and just different things. In the early 2000s, I wrote a book, self-published a book, just to see if I could do it. And a friend of mine, Pastor Carl Adair and his wife, Lady Angela Adair, they had a bookstore in Oak Park. And I put the book there. I put a limited amount, maybe 10 to 15 copies of the book, and it wasn't nothing elaborate. I, printed it out, stapled it myself, did the cover art myself, put it in the store, and I believe they told me that it sold out uh, within a matter of a couple of weeks. And so I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I never wrote a book again.
Oh
You know,
my God.
everybody's telling me write a book, write a book. I started. I actually have a book that's on my computer that I've started. I just never decided, I never finished it up. Actually, I have 3 books in the works that I haven't yet to start or to finish. And one is a poetry book, and 2 others are different genres. But yeah, from a dare, it became a passion. You know,
Oh my goodness.
um, I it's not bragging, but people ask me how long does it take for me to put out a poem. All I need to do is see it in my mind, and I just write it. And so, give me about 5 or 10 minutes, I'll have you a poem or 2.
You know what? That's amazing though, actually. I did not know. I don't think I knew that it started out as a dare for you. But so you were writing poetry and the guy was writing poetry as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's where the competition aspect came in. Um, and I'm sure you beat the pants off. No, let me stop. No, I don't want to disrespect him, but I know that you can write something very quickly. I know you can because I've had that experience with you. And many of you know, and just another shout out to Elder McGee. I reached out to him last February because I was supposed to have been doing a little talk, if you will, during Black History Month. The focus was families who have lost loved ones and how they've been affected. And so I was asked to speak for my family in loss of my brother. And all this time, and God is just so amazing. Everything just started rolling in together as far as my book was concerned. Well, I asked him, I said, if I send you some words, can you put it into poetry form for me? And so that's what I was going to read when I got up. But of course, the Lord gave me, some more things to add to it. But I gave it to him. You sent me something so amazing. It just permeated throughout my mind and what I was writing out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so accurate. It was so accurate and so on point. You would think that you were a part of my family and that you had experienced what we had experienced from your writing. So I took that, I did the little talk, the little speech, at church. And then the Lord, about a month or so later, had me to start writing my book. I was just doing dump writing, which is what they encourage you to do. I was just writing, writing, writing. And as things started coming together for my book. I said, oh my God, this poem. So I reached out to you. I said, I'm doing a project. Would you mind if I used this poem? He was like, it's yours. And so the Lord allowed me to take that poem that you wrote, Heartbeat, and it's throughout the book. It's throughout the book. And you know that because you've read the book. But it's amazing again to me how the Lord just takes things and just puts it all together. And it just flowed like a hand in the glove, and so I'm just grateful how you allow the Lord to use you and how it has become a passion for you. It went from the challenge that you were doing to becoming a passion for you. So let me see here. Who's this on here? Brandy said, Elder Kevin McGee, that preaching poet. Indeed, he is. You know what? Was it hard? Okay, because obviously you were, wait a minute. You started writing poetry before you became a pastor, right?
Right.
Okay, so when this new hat of becoming a pastor came in, how was that for you? Was it challenging? Did you say, okay, I can't really focus on that now. I need to focus on my pastoring. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, poetry is in my downtime.
Okay.
Um, um, I write all
Do
kinds
you
of
have to say that as a pastor? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
poetry. I write all forms of poetry, but really, when something just crosses my mind, what I'll do is, if I'm driving, I'll just get my phone and put it on voice text, and just speak it, and then I'll tighten it up later on. But it's really not hard to switch the hats because some poems have been the basis of a sermon.
Okay.
So now, over this course of this past, I would say 6 months to a year, I probably have not written that much because of other things, because of work, because of projects, because of the church. I have not really had a chance to sit down. But most of the time that I've been writing really were for your show. So, you know,
Okay.
that was really the bulk of my poetic energy was doing it for your show. And so I made sure that I set aside, one day out of the week where I can just kind of wait for you to send me the topic. Sometimes, y'all, I had to say, send me your topic so I can get this going. You be slow in sending me the topic. All right. Then I get it like about, the night before. And a couple of times I got it the day before. I was like, Dad, can you do something? I'm like, okay.
I
But
think I've done the day of too, haven't I?
yeah, the day of, yeah. So, but, as far as, because see, first of all, everybody, whether you're a pastor or not, you have to have some kind of downtime, some time to decompress. That was my way to decompress. That was
Hmm.
my way to relax. Okay. The only other way that I can relax is to listen to music or play video games. Hey, that's me. So, but it was my way to relax, and it doesn't take much out of my day. So,
Right, right. Hey, I want to ask some of you guys that are on here. Have you experienced either listening to Elder McGee as he's given his spoken word? Because I know he's had some spoken word nights at different.
no, they haven't heard it
They
because
haven't heard it,
no,
so you don't think anybody that's on here. Well, if anybody has heard him,
other than your show, that's
look, he's
it.
so confident. No, they haven't heard it. Have you been affected by his poetry?
Well, see, I think I don't perform the poetry. I don't, you know.
Well, that
I,
don't necessarily mean that they haven't heard it, though.
well, that's true. That's true. I've only actually performed poetry live in a couple of places. My mom's church, shout out to Freedom Church of Hillside, they had a poetry cafe, and they wanted me to come and be a part of that, and I would read for that. As a matter of fact, they're getting ready to do a revival, and they want me to come aboard to help organize that. We just
Okay.
haven't really sat down and worked out all of the nuances of that. And then the other thing I did my church, we went during the pandemic, we did a virtual poetry spoken word night. And so on that occasion, I deliver some poetry virtually over Zoom. But other than that, I don't go places to do all of that because number one, now that is something I don't have time for.
Okay. If you had time for it, would you?
Maybe a few years ago, not now.
Really?
Now let's say if you put on something at your church, I probably would come and make an appearance and do something. But to just go, there's a young lady who awesome poet by the name of Articulate. That's her poetry name, and she has a venue called Hot Sauce Poetry, and it's all clean poetry. She's invited me. I said, no, I really don't have time. And then I have a lot of poetry friends, but I really don't have time for that, because with, between working, church, and then I'm really in these days and time. I'm a homebody. I want to come home. I want to be home with my family. I just want to chill, and I'm telling you, that pandemic even wiped us out as far as church. We don't even want to go out to Bible class anymore or anything like extra services. No, listen, I've gotten to the point I want to stay home when I'm home. So going out to a poetry now, no. If I can watch it virtually, I will. But if no, mm-mm.
Right, right. No, I get it. I get it. I understand. I know of a few people that actually they're spoken word artists, and they do have like different events where they do their spoken word. And you probably know you know Anita Riddle, right?
I've heard of her.
Okay. She's good. And I know she does different events like that. Lisa says, I'm looking for spoken word for an event. Uh-oh, watch out now.
She know
Lisa.
two people she can call right away, and that is Chris and Tanisha Jackson, Rayma Rhetoric. Give them, they're going to show up for you, Lisa. Come on now.
And Lisa knows she can also reach out to you as well.
No, she can't. I'm not
Oh,
coming.
oh.
She
She
knows
said
that.
she needs the spoken word for the event. She didn't say she needed you to come. I'm look, I'm over here fighting for you, Lisa. But you know what? Her comment brings up another question I want to ask you. She says she needs spoken word for an event. You say don't call your work spoken word. You say call it poetry. Why and what's the difference to
Spoken
you?
word, to me, spoken word, I refer that to people who are actually doing, like, let's say open mic. They're actually speaking it. When I write it down, I just call it poetry because it's not necessarily being spoken. Now, when I
Oh,
perform it or when I'm recording it, then it becomes spoken word because I am speaking it, you know.
okay.
But when I just write it, no. Now I have written, I have been a ghostwriter for a couple of poets who did not have time to
Mm,
put something together, and they've asked me if I would share something, and or they asked me if they can use something, and they'll just make sure I get the credit for it. I tell them I don't need the credit for it. Just go ahead and use it. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not. Hey, I'm good.
Yeah, you're typically like that. You're very giving, have a giving spirit. So you don't. It's not like you're squandering. But I mean, what? Well, let me ask you this: if this was your livelihood, though, would you be that generous and say no? Go ahead and say you can have it.
Oh no, I'm like, where my check? Give me my check. All right. I don't write to make money, and that's probably why I have never put out a book. Although, like I said, the unction to write a book has been on me. I just never really, you know, sat down, because when you're writing a book, now you have to actually intentionally think of things to go in the book.
Yep.
Right. I just write spur of the moment because something hit me. But now I have to, to do the book, I have to be focused. When I wrote the first book, I had to figure out, okay, I have to do, write a certain number of poems that would tie in together. And I'm like, that was exhausting. You know,
Yeah, I
uh,
can
that
imagine.
first book maybe had about 25 to 30 poems in it. You know,
Wow.
now I am, like I said, I'm going to, because I started this last one, this last book, I am going to finish it. Now, when, I don't know. My goal last year was to have it ready by Valentine's Day. Then I moved it to Sweetest Day because it was going to be a book for couples, which
Right.
was actually, it was going to be a revised version of the first book that I did. Uh, and the title was given to me by my wife. It was inspired by my wife. Together we are one. Uh,
Oh.
and so I was going to do it, and I got it on the computer. All I have to do is just really pull it all together and do it. But I stopped because I wanted to see what publishing options I wanted to use. What
Okay.
platforms I wanted to use. So, and I just never revisited that.
Okay.
Um, but to me, many people, they like, they're not, you're not gonna get a pull unless you pay them. And I'm like, I'm not that. I guess I could be that way, but if it was my livelihood, yeah, run me a check.
Okay. Run me my money.
Right.
Listen, now that's interesting. You should say all that. I've often wondered, but I do know that you're generous and you will give out of the kindness of your heart, your work. Yeah, go ahead and use it, because there have been plenty of individuals when I have featured your poetry on my show. Oh, I want that. Especially the guests. They're like, oh my God, he wrote that about me. He wrote that for me. Can I have it? And you're, oh, sure, go ahead and get, but I always ask you first. But yeah, who is this? Lula, thanks for coming in. Said Pastor Elder Kevin McGee is very inspiring, whether he's preaching and general conversation.
That is Mother Patricia Clark. All right,
Oh,
church
oh,
mother.
okay. Well, what? Okay, was she using
She
somebody
uses
else?
she uses her mother's name in memory of her. So
Oh, okay, okay.
yes,
Well, God
yes, yes.
bless you, Mother. We appreciate you joining us on today. Thank you so much.
Now
So,
listen, if they ever want to just offer some money, I'll take it. But
Law, we should have known that was coming, right? No, I get it. I get it, man. And I don't blame you for saying it like that as well. Those of you that are coming in, if you're just not joining us, if you joined us from the beginning, this is Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. It's your time to get caught in the net on today. It's a different day that we normally air. We normally air on Wednesdays at 12 noon, but we switch days this week so that we can accommodate my guest, Elder Kevin McGee, and to feature him in our Where Are They Now segment since his last appearance. I think it was in 2022. And we are just talking to him today, seeing what he's been doing, what he's been up to since he's come on. And we're just talking to him about his poetry, his life. And I don't know if he has anything for us on today, but I'll ask him that shortly. If you guys have any comments or questions for, look at you, do y'all see the way he just looked at me? If you guys have any questions or comments, or just want to shout out to Elder McGee, go ahead and throw it into the comments section. Whether you're on Instagram, we're live there. On Facebook here, Get Caught in the Net in Mind, Body, and Soul with the Net page, and then also on YouTube. We kind of go back and forth. We're not going to be on here long today, but we're talking to him, and I know he's had a long day already, so I do want to make sure that we are cognizant of that. So, Elder McGee, what changes or developments have happened since your last appearance on Mind, Body, and Soul with the Net?
Oh wow. Okay.
You had a lot going on.
Yeah, I have. When was I? What was the last time I was on? What year was that?
That was let's see, February 9th, 2022.
22. Okay, so it was last year.
Last year.
Okay, so and probably right after that, right after being on your show, some life changes happened. And I've told you, and some that are on the line know, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Right.
And so we had to go, we went through the process. And I tell you, she had no symptoms, no pain, no anything. She went for one thing and come to find out it was something else. Metastatic stage 4. They were able to treat it. They were able to do surgery and remove it. And she underwent chemo, and she was part of a clinical infusion trial. And the trial was supposed to, the immunotherapy infusion was supposed to be something that they're trying to see if it can prevent cancer from coming back. Okay. And in that, you would either get a placebo or the real thing. Okay. Well, after she rang the bell and everything, a few months later, found out she had the placebo because it came back. And so they had to now give her the real thing. And so, but this time she didn't have to go through the full chemotherapy, which she's doing. She has to take a chemo pill. That's all she has to do. But if you see her, you wouldn't guess that anything's wrong with her. She's doing whatever she was doing before. She's the Mary Kay director. She's doing everything. But during that time, there was a lot of life changes. Her eating habits changed. The way she conducted life had to change. And I had to change because I'm the cook of the house. So I had to, cook differently for her. And and then also with the church, I never had a bulging at the seams ministry. And so during the pandemic, before the pandemic, we had some individuals. During the pandemic, we lost some individuals. After the pandemic, we lost some individuals. And so sometimes as a pastor, your heart gets heavy because what you see on our live stream, you see me. But what you don't see is some of the time I'm preaching to an almost empty audience. There's only a few there. But nevertheless, God is yet faithful. We just celebrated 8 years of pastoring this past February. And so, but watching my wife go through the changes gave me a new perspective on things. And so I learned to see how life is fleeting, but also it increased my faith because to watch her now, she is becoming the poster child because after her diagnosis, 2 other friends received similar diagnosis and they were able to handle it because she was able to handle it. Okay. So she had a mission that she wanted to let everybody know that people don't always die from cancer. And so she's going through like a champ, and I, as much as possible, I go to the doctor's appointments with her. because just to be that support system. But in that, I decided I'm going to do a series of poetry, of poems surrounding the journey.
Mm.
I have not yet sat down to write that, but it's, I have pretty much everything in my head. I just have to translate it into written form.
Yeah.
So, from the beginning stage to the mid stage to the overcoming stage. And I told her, I said, you're not a survivor. I hate the word survivor. You're an
Right.
overcomer. You're an
Uh-huh.
overcomer, not a survivor. And
Uh-huh.
so, we're in the overcoming stage. Even though it came back, they found a couple of lymph nodes, that they said, could be cancerous. And so they wanted to put on the chemo pill. I said, you're an overcomer because you didn't have to go back through the chemo process that you had
Yeah.
to go through before. You take a pill, you're good. You go through your infusions, and so she is handling it. And so I'm going to do a series of poems surrounding that journey. You know,
Yeah.
the other thing is that when I look at all this going on in our country, in society, the racism, but especially the um, crimes against our children and young
Mm-hmm.
people, uh,
Yeah.
I've been focusing more on that as far as what I write. I do have a couple of things I'm going to read for you today. One is focusing on the plight of our young people and the vulnerability of our youth,
Mm.
children, and then another. And I'm not sure if I have actually did these for you or not, but the other is actually it's three. I want to give you because one was inspired by Pastor Rodney Jones a few years ago,
Okay.
and so yeah, life changes, things that we never saw coming, things that we never imagined coming.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that God is faithful enough to carry us through this,
Yes.
yeah, it's just awesome. And so I would be remiss in not using this journey as a subject matter for poetry
That's
because
very
it
true.
serves to encourage somebody.
Yeah. You know what? I when you said she's the poster child now for those who have received similar diagnosis after her, um, is in conjunction with what I typically say. God, when we go through things, we all have to understand our journey is not for us alone. It's not for us alone. God is so faithful and he's so caring and loving about all of us that what you go through, he's like, okay, I want to use that as an example to help this other because I know he knows what's going to happen, and those that come in contact with that you're, whether they're friends of yours or they see you wherever, then they can be blessed by how you're dealing with it and going through it. So um, yeah, I would never know unless you had told me what she was going through. And definitely, she has been in our prayers, and we're thankful to God for how far He's brought her and how He's going to continue to take her on. So, do you want to come on and grace us with the poetry that you have for us on today?
Yeah, no music, just this. All right,
Okay,
I ain't got
just
no music. I'm gonna read the one first that was inspired by Pastor Rodney Jones. He actually gave me the subject matter about a year or two ago,
okay.
and so I'm gonna read that one once I find it. Here it is. Okay, I don't even have a title for this. All right, night breeze, gentle as a whisper through the trees, a calm night, peaceful and serene, with only a night breeze. Yet when I close my eyes, the night breeze betrays me, waiting until my guard was down and then its real essence showed up. The soft, gentle winds became a full fledged gale wind, causing trees to bow down and scrape my window panes. There was a storm raging. Internal billows rose as thunderclouds well up inside. Lightning strikes the heart, causing aches of pain and tremors 9.0 on the Richter scale in the brain, causing severe migraine. Anger combined with indescribable sadness. I asked the question, why? Looking towards the sky. Why? Attempting to make sense of this. Why? Hurricane winds blowing and confusion set in, questioning the one in which I trusted, feeling ashamed because I'm tempted to deny him with every breath I take. I ask, why? Suddenly, storm clouds dissipate and raging billows cease to roll. Tumultuous winds stand at ease. Peace be still, cries a voice from beyond the skies as hurricane winds die. Sitting down, I begin to cry softly as the words of comfort fills the empty void. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. As the Son of Righteousness appears, not to stand over me, but to comfort me as I weep in his arms, saying, why? Knowing your love can give me the strength to stand, even though I can never make sense of any of this. I know that I have to go on and remain strong for those that are here. Yet he lets me know that it's okay to cry,
Mm.
to ask the question, why?
Ooh-wee. And see, wait, what we do? We do the snapping of the
And you
finger.
know you can't snap. All right, so
I can do my left hand. I can't. My right hand. I can't. Uh,
now listen, if your left hand offends you,
I'm left-handed, so I can't cut it off. But that was good. That was good. I see you, Pastor Deborah Williams. Thanks for coming in. I think I saw Sandra Piggy. Thank you for coming in. When you guys come in, just shout out, say hi, so I can recognize you on today. I know a few of you had to hop off. I think Lisa
yeah,
ID
Lisa had to go and do stuff.
and Sir Walter Jones also. But who was that? I think somebody's clapping for you. The mother's clapping. I keep wanting to say the name Lula. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yeah, yeah. That's so you said, and you were inspired by Elder Rodney Jones with that question. Why? So, but you didn't have a title for that though, right?
No,
Okay. Well, we could maybe just title it the question
why?
why or why. That can encompass in so many times. I think as humans, as we're going throughout this life, we are asking that question. But you know as well as I do, we've been told probably when we were little, don't question God, don't ask him why. But yet the questions still remain in our mind. So why not? Why not? And we're not coming to him in any kind of disrespect. We just really want to know and understand why things are happening. And, you know, the things that you laid out, that's what we see every day. That's what we face every day. And I always say this, and I just got through telling my husband this the other day. When the mind does not know the answer to a question or the answer to a situation, it's going to create the answer. That's just how our minds work. So I think asking the question why is going to be key in helping us to understand why some things happen. And hopefully we'll get the response. So thank you for that.
You know, I when I pulled that up, you know, my mind went to the questions that I had when my wife got her diagnosis. And so I said, well, this might be the first poem in
Yeah,
the series because I asked God why. You know,
yeah.
why her? You know, I even said, why her and not me? You know, because I would rather be the one sick than my wife, you know. So not inviting it on me. So Lord,
Right.
just remember, you know, I'm Lord, let's get that clear.
I know that's right. I
I'm
know
not
that's
inviting it, but I'm just saying, you know, why? But
why.
then also realize that, you know, honestly, I don't know if I could have handled it the way that she is handling it. So God knows what He's doing.
He wouldn't put more on you than you can bear. And that scripture is very, very true. You know, and then sometimes I kind of joke around with God. I'm like, okay, you must think I can handle a whole lot then.
Yeah,
You know, but he knew that Dr. Karen could handle this, you know, whether or not she had to go and grab that strength or pull that strength from you or whatever. He knew that she was going to go through this the way that she has. He knew. God knows all of us. If he knows the number of hairs on our head, you know, can number them, he knows about each of us. That was, yeah, I would agree that I think that probably should be your first poem in the book that you're going to do.
And let me
Uh,
say this: shout out to Dr. Karen McGee. Let me say, tomorrow will be the anniversary that she made me marry her 33 years ago.
Dr. Karen, I have no clue if you're watching this. You probably are not, but I pray for you daily. I need to pray for you. I need to pray for her. There she is. I love me some Dr. Karen. She is such a sweetheart. I'm telling you. You know, Dr. Karen, and you're right. And even when you ask the question of God, why her? Because she's such a sweetheart. I mean, she is. And I've said that from the time first that I've ever met her. I've always thought she was beautiful, but she's just so sweet. And she will help you. She will do whatever she can to help you. I remember I reached out to her. Was it during the pandemic? There was some stuff going on, and I found out that she knew how about this stuff, and she was right there on the phone helping me. So, and I know that she, does that with other people as well. She said, "Please don't stop praying. I won't. I will not stop praying, girl. Matter of fact, I need to put on some extra prayer." She said, "Here he go with this foolishness, honey. You know your husband. You know him." But I want to say to the both of you, happy anniversary in advance. It's a blessing, because so many people um, they've come as far as you all have, and then they call it quits, or they will get almost there and they will call it quits. And so for you all to, still be together, you said the day she made you marry her, Lord have mercy. I still, Elder McGee, trying to figure out how did you get her. Now let me stop. But anyway,
It was my hair back then.
it was your hair.
Back
Well,
then,
I
yeah.
tell you, good Lord. Well. No comment. Don't care. You don't have to comment on that either if you don't want to. Mother says definitely a great friend, Karen McGee. Yes, I would agree. I would agree. She's laughing at you on today. So yeah, but yeah, I was just saying, I just, saying happy anniversary and for you all to continue on. I know God has brought you this far and he's blessed you for such a time as this. Um, Going back to your poem, the question why, and maybe she asked the question as well. I don't know. But God, I'm so glad that you were there for her and with her, and that you were able to help her on the journey that she has been on. God is definitely, he's definitely blessed, and he's going to continue to bless, and I know he's going to bring her out all the way. Let's see here. You have another. She said none whatsoever. I love her. She's so sweet.
Listen. If you think I'm crazy, okay, but let me be quiet.
Oh,
She gonna
she's a
get me.
good. She's a good. Yeah. Well, she need to get you. Well, I don't know what you guys are gonna do for your anniversary on tomorrow, but I hope you celebrate it
Yeah.
in grand style. In grand style.
We
So
know.
what?
Yeah.
What's the other? What's the other? You want to do another one for us before we leave today?
Yeah, I'll do this one. This one, like I said, when I look at all of the crimes against young people, our children, just even on yesterday, they arrested the person who shot I believe, I forgot how old the little boy was at his grandmother's party, you
9.
know, 9 years old. Uh, it just, I hate to watch the news many times because that's all you see.
That's all you see.
Um, you know, Granted, we see other crime, black on black crime, we see racism, but to me, it's always been heartbreaking to see children as victims of crimes.
Yeah.
So I wrote this again. This one has no title. I'm not even sure if I even. This one is long, so I know I didn't put it on your show.
Okay.
Uh, I hear your voice. I hear your voices ringing out, though your lips have not been part of the echoing of your cries, resonating in a void that is your keeper. With conscience paralyzed from a fall into apathy, a nation, a community, a family, an individual turns a deaf ear and a blind eye forsaking morality and courage. As your innocence meets annihilation, your fate is matched with that of your siblings, and you join their struggle, yet not as their ally. Abandonment, victimization, and fresh tears which hydrate the old form your familiar pool of playmates. Your voices ring through the night. Once objects of affection and love, you become victims of society perverted. Those who once were stewards have become abusers, yet the voices ring. I love you even in the midst of hatred and neglect. Your love is unfailing. Reminds me of one who came before tortured and beaten, no fault of his own, sentenced to die, yet proving his love with the words, forgive them for they know not what they do. No sanctuary to be found, for places of refuge have become praying grounds, replacing playgrounds, taken away in the night, vapors of life gone, yet your voices continue to ring. The voices of our children, and now a wail and then a scream. Your voices seems to multiply, beseeching aid that may not arrive, whilst helplessness and betrayal simmer. Dare I allow the miracle that is you to become a tool of the predator, an experiment of the mad scientist, a perceived burden of the incompetent parent? Dare I acquiesce your dismissal as disposable refuse, adjudicated guilty for the crime of youthdom? You suffer a crucificial fate. Below it is written, the time shall come when you find shelter through pearly gates. Yet in the meantime, it is my duty, in fact, the cost of my stay here, to simply give back, to bequeath you this world in a better shape than that which you found it, to pass you a torch of lesser weight and neither tarry nor flounder. Then I must act with alacrity and tact, lest I share the blame when adversaries strike again. You must have a voice to speak for you, seeing that yours has been silenced or is going unheard. Someone must stand in the gap, intercede on your behalf. Dismiss the attitude of non-involvement, and it's all our business when you are on the receiving end of misplaced retribution. It takes a village to raise you, but it takes love to protect you from the ills and evil of society. When you cry, my heart aches. When you die, my spirit is enraged. Your voices I can no longer ignore, but I must answer the door, open up and let you run into safety. Senseless slaughter prevalent from the birth of Moses and Jesus on down through time. Predators feel they have the right to exterminate, blaming their deeds on demons and devils. Maybe they are right, hearing voices through the night. Tools of the evil one to accomplish his evil task in exterminating the seed, thereby destroying our future, silencing the voices of our children, but their voices shall always continue to ring. Incessant shall be your voices ring. If elders' heart won't hearken, who can ask that you believe in yourself? When your world refuses to recognize your worth, to cast off your voice as null and void? Who can ask that you prosper when your world refuses to acknowledge, to cultivate, to celebrate your genius, denies you your right to be protected, guided, respected, and loved? Who am I to criticize your manner of self-expression? For I was idle. Complacency owned me when corruptors taught your lessons. I inhabit the village of this new day that dares me to wag my tongue, to extend open arms, to carve a path if it benefits our young. Why, as a villager, am I forbidden participation in a shaping a future that will reacquaint our world with mankind as its greatest and the good, the victor of evil? Who will avenge you when your voices are constantly being silenced, when your dreams of exploring life are terminated? Who will make it right for you when you are mistreated mentally, physically, emotionally, when you are raped of your self-esteem and self-worth has become nil? Who hear you when you cry in the night while the elders have long forgotten you? Who shall be the agent of vengeance, that spokesperson for what is right and just, when the elders have died off? What will become of the world after all? They have silenced your voices. No successor fit to lead, thereby allowing our future to dissipate into nothingness. When your voice is silenced, who then will sing? Stillness overtakes the familiar ring of a voice from among your flock. So rude is the awakening that wrests us from slumber, and bricks pile up on our hearts. How many young shattered spirits must fend alone as orphans anticipating the end. For what modicum of hope hangs at the end of a rope when those who should shield instead fondle, batter, desert, and kill? Someone must pay for the happiness stolen, the spirit's filth before life has unfolded. Who is to blame? Who can we shame for souls left maimed as blue skies turn gray? How many deaths must our progeny suffer before we earnestly proclaim enough, not another? As a thief in the night, does Father Time travel when the hour of return arrives for the young? Preparedness, a stranger who seek not acquaintance, we hear your voice as the solo is sung, walking through cemeteries, sound of your voices crying from beneath the earth, crying out for a savior to save the remnant left behind. Don't let this happen to another child. Don't
Oh,
let the song die. Tears in my eyes, viewing the pictures of those missing, stolen by predators that has no soul. As the death angel looms overhead to silence another voice, I must follow, somehow stop him from taking another one. A baby crying in the night as a hulking monster. The father yells and screams for the baby to stop, picks up the child as the death angel greedily awaits. But I must intercede, pleading with the death angel, take me and spare the child. Death angel looks and smiles. A soul is a soul and a life is a life. The father's anger has subsided, puts the child down as the death angel proclaimed, the deal is done. Greater love had no man than this, that a man would lay down his life for a friend, sacrifice made in order for the song to continue. Will others stand up and stop the madness? Will others stop the genocide, the threats to silence the voices of our progeny forever? Will you stand? For if the voices are silenced, then we ourselves have died.
mm.
That's it.
Oh my God. Ooh, when did you write that one?
I don't even know.
Has it been a couple of years or within the
No,
past
no,
three?
within the past year. Within the past year.
Okay. Wow. That that summarizes all that we are dealing with, especially here in the Midwest in Chicago. My goodness.
This is really all over.
It
I,
really is.
it is all over. We just
Yeah.
hear so much about it in Chicago because we're here.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
I
And
was
I'm
in
sure if it was
Indianapolis.
somewhere else, we would hear
Yeah,
it as well. But yeah, that's deep. You can do so much with this poetry. You really could. And I'm sure I do want to stop right here because I've been meaning to say this throughout the broadcast. Please write the book. Please. Please get it out. And I know you shared with me that it was at least 3 books that you're gonna do, but get it out, man. Write it. Find that time. I'm telling you. Um, and I'm encouraging you to do that. Before I wrote my book, I would always run away from it. I would always run away from it. But I said, you should write. I ain't gonna write nothing. Went until the Lord like literally had to really get my attention to write. But we all have a book inside of us. We do. We go through life's journeys, we go through life's trials and tests, and you just even share with us here on today, some of the things that you and your family have experienced. So you got to write, man. You got to write. I don't care whether it's about the journey you went on with your wife or whatever else. You got to write. I ain't no prophetess. I ain't saying that I am, but you have to write. You have to, um, because again, I have even in these past few years that you've written for me have seen how it has affected people. The spoken word, the poetry that you've written for the various guests that I've had. Some of them were in tears. Some of the guests, oh my God, and it's like you really touch their heart. So if you're touching their heart and it's about them, it's going to affect others. You got to write. You got to write. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was a station break. I don't know what it was, but I had to tell you got to write. You got to put it in. It's got to be in print form. It has to be. Print form is not going away. Books are not going away. Much as we have this social media and, virtual this and digital that, the print form is not going away. You've got to write, my brother. You have to write. Please do. I enjoyed both of those tremendously that you share with us on today, and I miss them. I miss them so much. I miss the spoken word, but I understand you have a life, you have a whole
Well, my check.
family, you have a church.
Well, my check.
You need to go back to that job. It called you in today. What your check is.
She did pay me with a chicken sandwich though once, y'all.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Well, at least I paid you then when you came for the show when the chef was cooking, right? Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right. Um, okay, do me a favor before we end on today. Can you encourage those who are listening, live, those who will come back and listen to this as a replay? Encourage each of us with something to help us to succeed in life. And I'm sure you can throw that, whether you want to throw that pastor hat on or that poetry hat on, it don't matter. Just some encouraging words for those that are watching on today.
What I would use to encourage those that are watching is what I say to the church. Everything that you do, make sure you're doing it by faith. Faith allows you to see things the way that God sees it. You have to learn to see yourself the way that God sees you. When you look at it in the natural, you're looking at yourself and what you're doing as a work in progress. God sees it as already being done. So learn how to get the vision of faith, because then that will allow you to understand that whatever you have set before you, whatever goal that you have set for yourself, is already accomplished. You're just going through the process. See things the way that God sees, and see yourself the way that God sees you. Speak over your life what God says.
Yes.
You're the head, not the tail. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are more than a conqueror. Speak those affirmations over your life, and then those things will become a reality, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. Many times we speak death, or we speak hopelessness, or we speak failure over our lives. So whatever it is, if it's writing a book, if it's starting a business, whatever it is, make sure it is powered and empowered by faith in God. And if you can do that, then God will bring you through.
All right now. I love it. I love it. Thank you. That was good. Look, I'm taking that for myself. I hope y'all grab them nuggets too. Because that's something we all need. I'm telling you, because sometimes we can.
Oh, and let me say this. And check out my show on Saturdays, Connections on intellectualradio.com, 12 o'clock noon. All
12
right.
noon. 12 noon
Except
Central
for
Standard
Saturday. I
Time.
got a funeral. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't mind you. Yeah, plug it. Plug it, man. Plug it. Now, are you on this Saturday?
No, I have a funeral to attend. Otherwise, I
Okay.
would be. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, you guys can catch them. And that was going to be my next question for you, to let everybody know where they can find you, whether on social media or what have you. So you can go ahead and let everybody know.
Find me on Facebook, Elder Kevin McGee. Same way with Instagram. That's about the only two that I really use. The show Connection is on intellectualradio.com Sundays at 12 noon to 1 p.m.
Sundays?
We're celebrating Saturdays. We're celebrating we're actually in our 70th. We just celebrated our 7th year anniversary on Intellectual Radio. And then look, Sunday morning. You can come to the Victory Temple Church of God in Christ in Broadview, Illinois, 2000 West Roosevelt Road, on the corner of 20th Avenue and Roosevelt Road, across the street from Dunkin' Donuts, right next door to Wallace Funeral Homes. All right. We roll early in the morning, 8 o'clock a.m. to 9:30 a.m. We come meaning business. All right. You can come and share with us, and we will be glad to have you. God bless you.
Cool. Now, is that a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts? Can they grab a donut before they come to church or after church?
It'll be open when they come. It's not 24 hours though, but yeah.
Okay.
If you get there at 8 o'clock, trust me, Dunkin' Donuts will be open.
That's right. Look, I hope Dr. Hill ain't listening. She'll get me talking about some Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway,
Dr. Hill, come on and get you a chocolate donut with some sprinkles on it. Wait a minute, and a tall Karma Maki.
She, you know she gonna get you. You know she gonna get you.
I know.
That's
I know.
him, Dr. Hill. All right, but guys, but the most important thing, you know where to find him on Facebook and Instagram, Elder Kevin McGee, and then also, as he stated, you can please stop by his church, Victory Temple, and they're on their services Sunday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. The connection typically on Saturdays at 12 noon Central Standard Time on Intellectual Radio. So make sure you guys follow him. He's a great speaker too. He knows his word. He has his Bible class. When are your Bible class?
Wednesday nights on Facebook Live at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, Wednesday
and
nights.
Wednesday night. Yes, Wednesday nights. And I will be speaking at the Abounding Life Church. Okay, never mind.
Some I don't know about.
Well, you the CEO.
Oh
Tell
Lord,
Bishop,
okay.
tell Bishop Booker. Tell Bishop Booker I'm coming.
Look, any bookers listening, don't pay any attention to Elder McGee. I'm not sure what's happening with him right now. But anyway, so they can find you those places. What's new and next for Elder McGee? I think you have a real estate company, or you're a real
Yes.
estate. Come on,
If
talk
you
about that.
for any and all real estate transactions or real estate needs, you can contact me with GRD Realty. You can email me bishop1915 at gmail.com. Or just drop me a buzz on Facebook. Just hit me in my messenger. Let me know what you're looking for. We've been in real estate since actually we started in 2005, and so listen, the market is getting better, and it's a great time to buy a house.
Okay. All right now. Do me a favor, Elder McGee, either now or when we exit, please make sure you put all the information in where they contact you and reach out to you, especially with the real estate. So many people are looking for that. And just in general, how they can get in contact with you, okay? Because I know you rattled off your email and I don't want them to miss it. So they can always see it in they can always see it in print. Remember, in print. Now, all right. Well, you know what? I appreciate you again. Thank you so much for coming on today. We had to readjust our schedules, which is fine. But I enjoyed you as usual. Those poems were on point and very much needed. Very much needed. I find for myself, Elder McGee, when I take time and sit down and write, I can write out my feelings. And so this is kind of what you do, even with the poetry, kind of write out your feelings of things that are going on personally and in the world. So it's needed. It's definitely needed. So thank you for sharing that. Did you want to
No
say something
problem.
else?
No problem. And Annette will be on my show in the very near future. I'll let you know when.
I think I've just been dragged in, y'all. I'll go.
Oh yeah.
No worries. We're like that. He's my brother, and I appreciate him, and I thank God for him. So we bid you Godspeed and pray that God will continue to bless you in all your endeavors, and of course you. I don't know if you still listen to Karen, but we appreciate you. And I continue to pray for you and your health and your strength. And bless your family. I was thinking about your baby girl today. I want to ask you about her a little bit later. But praying for the rest of your
21
family.
years old. She ain't no baby no more.
She'll always be your baby.
Yeah.
Always. Okay. I know Dr. Karen would agree with that too. I love you too, sweetie. She said she loved me. I said, I love me. Thank you. And thanks all of you again. Mother, that's under the name Lulabelle McKinney.
Mother
Thank you.
Clark.
Mother Clark. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you on today. And I know, as I stated, others have come on and they've had to hop off. But thank you for your time and your on today, for listening to us, for supporting us on today. I am going to play our promo for next week. We do have, and I know she's been on Elder McGee's show before. Rhea Ray, am I pronouncing that right? Harris is going to
Oh,
come on.
real. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
Rhea.
classmate.
Okay, your classmate. Your classmate is going to be my guest on next week. So we're going to feature her book as she did on your show, and just trying to. She's doing some great things. So she's reaching out and getting on different airways So we're going to feature her on next week. So I want you guys to listen to the promo for next week. All right. And we'll see you soon. Make sure you guys go to getcaughtinternetradio.com. Getcaughtinternetradio.com. You will see everything, the shows, the the recorded shows. You'll see everything. You'll see my merchandise. You guys see me drinking on my cup. Y'all see me drinking on my cup. Mm-hmm. We have merch over there on my website as well. So make sure
I don't have a cup.
Well, you can go to the website.
You're supposed to have a cup too.
You go there and purchase. We're not in person. Lord Jesus, why? Why, Lord? Why? But please make sure you go there. And thank you again for your support of my Sash Talk videos on a daily basis. The Lord has blessed us to collaborate with Gerald Montgomery, and we are on his radio station every day with our Sash Talk inspirational discussions. So you can always go to Windy City Gospel Music to hear us, but just go there anyway. Go support my brother. And it's a 24-hour gospel radio station, and he's doing great work over there. All right, I'm going to play this because I will talk all day long. I love you guys. Thank you so much. On the next session of Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette. Get caught in a net with Annette.